Silva. We are live here on Texas Valley Sports, and we are bringing you playoff action. You've got the Black Mambas and the Explosion, the 2 and 3 seeds from the division of So we'll recap the first playoff match that just happened. It was Storms taking out Toxicas 3-0, but it took the Storm to really put the final touches, taking the third set 25-6. But it was the Toxicas putting all sorts of pressure to the Toxicas. Toxicas putting a lot of pressure on the Storm early on, but at the end it was Storm coming out victorious with a 3-0 victory. The winner of this matchup here will take on the Storm in one of the semifinal games. The loser here would say goodbye. It is the semi-final playoff round here in the Texas Valley Sports Volleyball. My name is Ray Silva from South Texas Border Sports, dropping podcasts every Monday on anchor.fm/STBS. And we are live here from McAllen, Texas, as the Explosion get the first serve, as Kayleigh Garza will serve it up for the Explosion. Explosion are 4-2, Black Mambas are 5-1, and referee Trey Johnson's lining everything up, and we are ready to rock and roll here from the Romney Center, home of the Boys and Girls Club in McAllen, Texas. Black Mambas get that one over as number 5, Karina Garud, digs that one out. The Mambas hit that one out, and it is point Explosion. Explosion getting a 5-1 record here to reach to this point. Or actually they are 4-2, as a communication breaks down between the Explosion and the Mamba. Take advantage of that, and now it is all 1-1 here in the first set. The Mambas get that serve over as number 10, Marisa Leos, gets that one in, as the Explosion get that point right there, and it is their serve now, and they are going to make a substitution as number 6,
low battery warning.
Charlene Chavez. That last serve by the Mambas was number 14, Erica Martinez, as it is now a 3-3 game. I believe that last serve by the Explosion was number 1, Abigail Guerrero, as the Mambas return back to serve now as they get that one across. Mambas set this one up, they get it over, and that one falls out. Explosion back to serve as number 5, Karina Garund, gets that serve across to the libero of the Mambas, and it is point Mambas, as they are now equaled at 4. Number 9 for the Mambas, Emily Rivera, back to serve. They get that one in as number 12 gets it across. Kaylee and Garza gets it across for Explosion as Explosion set this one up. Number 8 trying to go for the kill right there. Sherlyn Chavez gets that one up and over. Number 10 for the Mambas, Marisa Leos gets that one across. And that last shot goes out of bounds by the Explosion, giving the Mambas a 5-4 lead in set number 1. And nothing doing there. As the Mambas try to play that one cross court and it goes out. Number 6 back to serve, Megan Samura for the Explosion, as she gets that one across to the libero. Oh, the Mambas, the number 1 goes up for the kill, and she gets blocked by number 5 and number 10, Catherine Facundo, and Marisa Leos up on the block kill right there to make it now a 6-5 matchup. Mambas back to serve, and they get that one across, and they play the back line just beautifully for an ace. Number 13 back to serve is Caitlin Lopez for the Mambas. She gets that serve beautifully done up there as the Mambas are the number 2 seeded in this tournament of the Purple Division. They get that one over and across. And a kill for the Mambas. They jump out to 8-5 lead, and they're playing the net. It's playing the net call right there. So it is now a 7-6 game. The Explosion are back to serve now. That serve falls a little bit short as it is now a 8-6 game. Number 5 back to serve, Catherine Facundo for the Mambas, as he gets that serve across, and a miscommunication error as the Mambas get a point right there. Folks, we do want to remind you that registration for the 2022 season is already underway, as well as for girls basketball. If you want more information, please contact Texas Valley Sports on the Facebook page for more information. As the game continues to roll along here, the Explosion have a long rally going up here as the Mambas try to play that one cross court, and they get that point right there on the beautiful cross court shot by number 10, Marisa Leos for the Mambas. Mambas play the serve beautifully as Marisa Leos tries to get that one across, and she gets a nice kill again. 11-6 is our score here in the first set here in the Romney Center in McAllen, Texas. We are live. This is playoff volleyball action. This is the semifinal round as the Explosion and Mamba battle on here. Number 3 for the Mambas, Brenda Gonzalez with the dig, as that cross court point goes across and over. And it is a point for the Explosion as they are now back to serve. Explosion get that one up and over as the Mambas try to figure out what they can do to their offense. And that one goes out of bounds. It is a point now for the Explosion. It is 11-8 right now. Number 8, Sherlyn Chavez back to serve for the Explosion. She gets that one over as the Mambas try to get that one across. They do. And that one goes out of bounds as they try to, as number 4 right there, Clarissa Ovaya tries to kill that one but goes out of bounds. Mambas now lead 12-8 as they get the serve across. Dug out beautifully by the Explosion as number 5 there with the dig, Karina Garungo gets the dig there as Mambas play that one out, and it hits out of bounds. Explosion with the point there. Substitution now as number 6, Megan Zamora, comes in to the game for the Explosion as the Mambas try to get a little cross-court kill, but it is dug out by the Explosion. Liberal gets a little touch on it, and the Mambas try to kill that point down, nothing doing. And a point there for the Mambas as number 10 right there gets the block kill. Marisa Leos blocking that shot by number 5, Karina Garund. Once again trying to go up for the kill, but gets blocked or met at the net by number 10, Marisa Leos. And that shot goes out of bounds. It is now 13-9. 13-9 is our score right now. And an ace makes it now 14-9. Serve gets across as the Mambas play it up. Explosion get a little touch to it, nothing doing there. And that kill goes out. It's now 14-10. Explosion trying to control this first set as they're up 14-10 right now. The Mambas trying to get out of a little miscommunication as that one falls in for the Explosion. Makes it now 14-11 and a timeout on the court. Mambas call it. We'll take one with you. We'll take a timeout with you. And we are back here from commercial break as it is the Explosion serving out of the timeout, down 14-11. Explosion get this one over as the Mambas try to capitalize here, and they do out of the timeout, get the first point off the timeout as the Mambas are now back to serve. Number 9, Emily Rivera, back to serve for the Mambas. Well, thank you guys for joining us this morning in this semi-final playoff match of the Purple Division as the Mambas hit that one out as the Explosion get that point right there. Served by the Explosion, they play it all the way back to where the libero gets it from the deep far corner. The Mambas try to continue the rally play, and that one's going to hit well wide. It is now 13-15. Serve gets across by the Explosion. The Mamba try to get something underway here, and they do. But number 1 is met there with a nice little dig out of her own as the Mambas hit that one well out of bounds. It is now 14-15 with the Explosion serving. Explosion calling a timeout, and now they are now on a 3-0 run right now to close in on the first set lead. And another ball that hit out of bounds, and it is now 15 all. It is now 15 all. And that serve by the Explosion goes out, ending a nice 3-0 run that they had used to tie up the match. And it is Mambas now taking the lead now, 16-15. Mambas trying to get into the Purple Division Championship right now. Right now, the Explosion are doing everything in their will to stop them. Nice point kill there by the Mambas. This is now 17-15 in set number one. I want to thank everyone who is joining us right now. The Mambas are hit that one, and that is out of bounds. And the Explosion make a substitution as number 11 has checked in, not on the roster. Mambas get that one in as the Explosion try to attack that. Nice kill there by Catherine Facundo to make it 18-16. Facundo on the kill there for the Mambas. Doing a solid job right there. And nice little rally going on there as the Mambas right there get the point. As a little miscue right there by the Explosion is not helping their cause at this point. Mambas with the serve as that hits in for an ace. That makes contact with two Explosion players, but the communication being an issue amongst them right now. It is now 20-16 here in set number one. Mambas trying to use a nice little run here to try to close out the first set here of this semifinal Purple Division matchup. Explosion go up, try to kill that one, but no, just use the soft touch just to kind of distract them. The Mambas try to do the same, but nothing doing there. Mambas trying to use the back line now, but nothing doing there. The Explosion doing well to guard that. And a miscue right there by the Mambas. Explosion with the point right there. As it is now 20-17 here in set number one. And the ball is hit out of bounds by the Explosion as it is now point Mambas as the libero checks out. And number 9, Emily Rivera checks back in for the Mambas. Mambas serving now, and it is an ace. Make it now 22-17. Nothing doing there as the service falls short. Explosion trying to close in on them to try to prolong this first set. It is now 22-18. Explosion down. Explosion getting a point there off of Mambas miscue. The Explosion trying to get this closed out as the Mambas try to get a cross-court kill there, nothing doing. The Mambas trying to get the ball across in, and the Explosion save it nicely. A couple of digs there to kind of help them out, get out of that rut, and a point there by number 10. Marisa Leos once again providing another kill. It is now 23-19. Leos is one of the more active players right now for the Mambas, using all sorts of kills, and even the service game has helped the Mambas get to where they're at right now. Explosion trying to get it going here as they trying to look for a cavity in the Mambas defense, and they find one right there to make it now 23-20. Explosion making another substitution, their fourth here in the set. Mambas with the returning of the serve right there, and they're trying to get it across, and that one goes out of bounds, making it now 23-21. Explosion get that serve across as the Mambas look to attack it and trying to get their set point, but nothing doing. The libero gets a touch to it, and here comes Leos once again, and there she goes once again. Leos being real active right now. It is now set point for the Mambas as they're up 24-21. Thanks for joining us here this morning. My name is Ray Silva, live from the Romney Center in McAllen, Texas. And that ball by number 5 goes out of bounds, ends the first set, 25-21. We'll be going to commercial break, and we'll be right back. back. And we are back live here from the Romney Center in McAllen, Texas. It is the Mambas taking the first set over the Explosion, 25-21, here in the Purple Division playoffs, here on Texas Valley Sports Live on Facebook. Mambas trying to push their postseason run while the Explosion just trying to keep it alive would be their first priority. And that one comes straight towards me. Does not knock me out, unfortunately, but it is the Mambas taking the first point here in set number 2. They use a little float serve right there to try to catch the Explosion off guard, but nothing doing as Libero gets a touch on it to try to kill that, but nothing doing there. The Explosion trying to continue their way into this little postseason run that they have. This is the first matchup between both these teams here in the playoffs. And the Mambas get the point right there as that one goes hit well long and out of bounds. Mambas continue to serve here in the beginning moments here of set number 2. My name is Ray Silva. Thanks for joining us here at the Romney Center, McAllen, Texas. The Explosion there get a point off the kill right there by number 3, Elisa Ordonez. As number 9 is back to serve, Joanna Ortiz, and they're going to make a sub here as number 1, Abigail Guerrero, is in for number 11, who is not listed on my roster. The Mambas play that one nicely as they just use a small dig, and there goes the point there for the Explosion as they find a cavity in the Mamba defense to get their second point of the set. And the Libero falls a little short there to return that. It is now 3-2 Explosion lead. Explosion here continue to serve as the Mambas try to plan that one off, and they use a double block right there to nearly get a point. As number 12 there keeps it alive, Kaylee-Ann Garza for the Explosion as the Mambas tip that one back across. Nothing doing. The Mambas try to attack the back line. Nothing doing once again. The Mambas trying to go with the cross-court kill. They get a nice one in there, but nothing doing as the Libero gets a touch for the Mambas. And they try to attack the back line once again, but nothing doing. And out he goes. Out of bounds into the Mambas point. Number 14, Erica Silva, back to serve now for the Mambas as she gets the ball across. Gets it in beautifully as the Explosion try to find a cavity, and they use the far sideline to get that point. It is now 4-3. Folks, if you haven't heard, Texas Valley Sports is registering right now for women's basketball and volleyball for next year. You guys are highly encouraged. Then I would suggest to drop a line at Texas Valley Sports Messenger on Facebook to ask for more info, as the Mambas make a late serve as the Libero is serving to make it a 4-4 match here in set number 1. And attacking the net is the call by the referee, which makes it now a 5-4 game. Excuse me there, folks. And that ball goes out. Yes, the referee calls it out. It is now point Mambas, making it a 5-5 game here. It's set number 2. Serve gets across, and it's an ace. As that ball attacked number 5, Karina Garuno, to make it now 6-5. That ball takes an attack right down the middle for another ace. That goes out. So Mambas try to use the backdoor cut, but nothing doing as the Explosion make a substitution as number 6, Megan Zamora, checks back in, and number 11 is back to serve for the Explosion. And that one goes out of bounds as Leos tries to attack the back line, and it is now a 7-7 game. Explosion get an ace. Make it now 8-7 in favor of the Explosion. And another ace by the Explosion to make it 9-7. And the Mambas call a timeout. We'll take one with you here on Texas Valley Sports. And we are back live here on Texas Valley Sports. Thanks for joining us this afternoon as it is the Explosion taking an early 9-7 lead on the Black Mambas, who are the number 2 seed here in the Purple Division semifinal. My name is Ray Silva. Thanks for joining us as the Mambas had to call a timeout to kind of reset their offense and defense, but so far, nothing but miscues on the communication end of things. Mambas trying to get back into the groove that they found early in the first set. But right now, it is Explosion doing a lot of the hard work right now to get them to where they're at the moment. The Mambas trying to settle in here, but a Explosion, they're just running their bodies all over the place just to throw off the Mambas as the Mambas try to attack with the back line, nothing doing. And an attack there by the Mambas goes short, and so does it for the Explosion, but it is the Mambas who pick up the point after a short return there by the Explosion. Mambas with the serve that goes out of bounds. It is now 11-8. And the libero gets in on the action, trying to get a kill there. Nothing doing. It's dug out by the Mambas as that hit there by number 14, Erica Martinez, just falls a little short. It is now 12-8. Explosion up on top here in set number 2. We're live here at the Romney Center in McAllen, Texas. The winner of this one will take on the Storm, who won their earlier match 3-0. But the Storm did have some trouble with the Toxicas until the third set when they defeated them 25-6. The other two set scores were 25-19, 25-21 in favor of the Storm. So the winner of this one here gets the Storm. And a violation there as the Explosion played the net there, giving a free point there to the Mambas, and the serve goes out of bounds, making it now 13-10. Number 12 for the Explosions back to serve. Kayleigh Garza is back to serve for the Explosion. She gets that one in as the Mambas try to go with the cross-court kill. Nothing doing. There's a tap shot, and that's a nice point there for the Mambas, making it now 11-13 here in set number 2. Set number 1 was taken by the Mambas 25-21 here early on in set number 1. We are now in set number 2. Folks, if you have not heard, the registration for the 2022 season is underway. They will be featuring girls basketball and volleyball once again. So if you want more information, please contact the Texas Valley Sports Facebook page. Send them a message and they'll get back to you. As the Mambas there finish off that rally there to get the 12 point of their own, making now 12-13. One of the main issues plaguing right now the Mambas has been the service game, but Maria Soler gets that one in there for an ace. Up and over now for the Mambas as the Explosion try to go with a cross-court kill, and it works. It is now 14-13. Explosion here trying to prolong their lead, but the Mambas will not go away quietly as there's a communication miscue right there by the Mambas to give the Explosion the 15th point of the set. The Explosion taking it to the Mambas right now. It is 16-13 as they look to close out this set. But the Mambas are not going away quietly as they try to prepare to attack. Libero gets a touch on it. And it is now the 17th point for the Explosion. Timeout, Mambas. We'll take one with you. We'll be back here on Texas Valley Sports Live on Facebook. back live as the Explosion are serving to the Mambas. And the Mambas are unraveling here a little bit as the Explosion have now taken an 18-13 lead. Explosion are the number 3 seed here in this playoff format, single elimination. Although they may have dropped 2 matches during the regular season, they are playing anything but that matchup as the Explosion now lead 19-13 so far. And an ace to make it now 20-13. And another point there by the Explosion to make it 21-13. Right now the Mambas are a bit dazed in. They look to be a little down right now as that serve falls a little short by the Explosion as number 9 checks in for the Explosion. Joanna Ortiz checks back in as the Mambas are back to serve. Trying to get back into this one, making a small run or two, and they get a point there off the service as number 14 Erika Martinez just served right there to get the Mambas their 14th point of the set, but they lead 1-0 at the moment. The Mambas trying to jump back into this one, and they're working on it slowly. Now they're down 16-21. That ball gets across nicely as as a team from the Explosion trying to keep this one up and running here, but the Mambas keeping this rally up and going here as a failed block kill attempt there by the Explosion just falls a little short, and that one goes well out of the reach there as it is now a 16-22 game. Ball goes up and over as the Mambas have one more opportunity to get it over. They do. But the Explosion trying to put this one away here, but nothing doing, and they do get it down. It is now 16-23. The Explosion here trying to close out this first set here, but nothing doing as the Mambas trying to keep everything alive here to kind of pull away here in the second set. The girl tries to get a kill, and that's like the 4th or 5th time she has tried that today, but nothing is going her way. It is now a set point for the Explosion here. And that one goes out of bounds as the Mambas now make it 17-24. Still set point for the Explosion here. Mambas trying to get their offense going here as they try to attack the back line, nothing doing. But now they're starting to find some open cavity on the Explosion line that will cause them to make mistakes, but nothing doing for the meantime. And that goes out of bounds, and the set goes to the Explosion, 25-17, and we'll be going to commercial break with you to bring you set number 3. And we are back live here on Texas Valley Sports Live on Facebook. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ray Silva, here from the Romney and Romney Center, home of the Boys and Girls Club in McAllen, Texas. It is the semifinal of the Purple Division here in Texas Valley Sports Volleyball Playoffs. Mambas and Explosion are tied at 1 set apiece. As the Explosion try to continue their upward trend, and they do so by getting the first point of the set. So we'll recap this match for you real quick here. Mambas took the first set 25-20. Ovaya gets the kill right there for the Explosion. Explosion get that serve across. The Mambas are the number 2 seed right in the Purple Division. The Mambas getting that across as the Explosion as well, as there's a miscue right there by the Mambas right there to make it 3-0 early on for the Explosion. The Explosion are playing with high confidence at the moment right now. Mambas trying to just figure out their own offense, but nothing is going their way this far as the Explosion take a 4-0 lead here early on in the set. Explosion using a very balanced attack to kind of keep off guard on the Mambas as the Mambas finally get on the board here. It will be number 10, Marisa Leos, back to serve for the Mambas as the Mambas are the number 2 seed here in this single elimination playoff format. It is an ace by the Mambas. We want to thank each and every single one of you watching on Facebook Live for making this broadcast possible. Also, I want to thank the founder, Jose Perales, for making this broadcast possible as well. And there's a substitution now for the Explosion as number 9, Joanna Ortiz, and number 1, Abigail Guerrero check in for the Explosion for the first time here in set number 3. As number 5 finds a cavity there, Karina Garuno finds a cavity in the Mambas back line to take advantage of it and make it a 6-2 ball game here in set number 3. Mambas right now look a little shaken up right now, and that ball goes well wide of the mark as the Explosion give up a rare miscue right there. Ball goes up and over for the Mambas as the Explosion just slightly attack that line of the Mambas as the Mambas try to play back the Explosion. And there's a line, shot down the line that just goes wide off the mark. Makes it now 7-3 here on set number 3. Folks, if you want more information on our volleyball leagues that are coming up, just turning over the calendar year, well, now's the best time to look up Texas Valley Sports on Facebook and send them a message regarding their basketball and volleyball leagues. Registration is underway, and you can just contact their Facebook page as the Mamba try to set up a nice attack to come off, and nothing doing there as Karina Garuno gets the kill and makes the Mambas call a timeout here. We'll take one with you as we go to commercial break. And we are back, folks, from commercial break. It is the Explosion 8, a Mambas 3. Mambas, they are feeling the ropes right now as the number 3 seed Explosion are taking it to them early on in this set here. The Explosion trying to just continue their offensive groove that they found from the last set as the Mambas get a nice cross-court kill to kind of stop that rally from the Explosion as the Mambas now make it 8-4. The liberos serving as they make a sub as number 5 Catherine Facundo checks in for the Mambas with the libero serving. And that ball goes well wide of the mark as the Explosion get the point there. Make it now 9-4, and Explosion there get the serve right over. As the Mambas jersey number on the libero reads 11, not listed on our roster, but it is now 10-4 in favor of the Explosion right now here in set number 3. And that one just barely goes out. Mambas to get a point there off that. 11-5 is our score here in set number 3. Thanks for joining us here on Texas Valley Sports Live on Facebook. It is the playoff action, Purple Division semifinal between Mambas and Explosion. Mambas are the 2 seed, Explosion the 3, and it is now 11-6 after that last call. And that is a nice point there by the Mambas, who are starting to hopefully find a groove and make this match a little bit more interesting. Explosion trying to find an attack there as they find a way to attack the back line. Mambas just get it over before a violation foul could occur to them. And what a kill down there as Leo sets up her teammate across the court to get that kill. Number 3 is back to serve as Brenda Gonzalez for the Mambas is back to serve to try to close in on this 11-8 deficit that they're facing right now. And that one goes out of bounds, and now the Mambas, now they're starting to enter that flow as they've reeled off. Coming into this postseason, I felt like these two teams were going to meet again as they met in the regular season, as this is the Explosion that suffered 2 losses, as now the Explosion make two changes to their lineup. Number 11, who is not listed on my roster, checks in, and number 6, Megan Zamora. I want to say 11 is back to serve for the Explosion as the Mambas receive the serve and try to attack the back line, but that goes well out of bounds. It is now 13-9 here in set number 3. Ball is up, over, and trying to get the kill, and they do. 14-9 is our score. Folks, if you have not heard the South Texas Florida Sports Podcast, they drop episodes every Monday on anchor.fm/STVS. Serve gets across, and that goes in, touching the far baseline. And dancing with a little danger right there, because that could have easily gone out of bounds as well. Ball gets crossed right there as the Mambas try to fend that one off, and that one touches our referee, or just misses our referee. Point Mambas here to make it 16-10 as the attack by the Explosion just graces our referee. Didn't knock him down, but just sure give him a little scare there. The Mambas try to find their offensive groove, nothing doing there. And the attack will try to go a little short there as Aleos returns that one to the back line, nothing doing there. Yes. The Mambas taking advantage that the Explosion had not spread their defense out a little more, and they found a cavity right to their right hand side to take advantage of that point right there. It is Gonzalez right there trying to get the dig, and they find it. Boy, another one to inch a little closer now to the deficit that they're facing, down by 4 here in set number 3. As that one goes out, and the Explosion get the serve now. The Explosion's keys to victory was try to get a good serve in, and so far that's been working because they have had a handful of aces and a handful of returns that have gone miscued, and the Mambas there with the kill to make it now 13-17. Mambas 17-13 is our score here in set number 3. Thanks for joining us here in our Sunday afternoon Purple Division playoff semifinal. It is a single elimination format. The winner of this one takes on the Storm in our next game. The loser of this one says goodbye to the tournament. Explosion right now using all of the momentum that they gained in set number 2 to kind of fend off the Explosion, as number 4 there gets a kill as Clarissa Ovaya goes up and blocks. It is now 19-13 is our score here. And an ace! 20-13 right now. The Mambas just trying to point themselves out, like, you cover this area, I'll cover this area at the moment, as the Explosion are flying high at the moment for number 3 team, and the Mambas trying to just find a rhythm at this moment, but nothing doing for them, as the Explosion trying to kill off a point, nothing doing for them, as they're taking on World Power Brazil, and now the Mambas get one there on a communication miscue. Folks, if you want to sign up your team for women's basketball or women's volleyball, contact Texas Valley Sports live on their Facebook page, and you'll get all of the information you'll need in order to field a team in either sport. Substitution for the Explosion as Number 1 Abigail Guerrero checks in for the 3rd time here this afternoon here in set number 3. That one goes well wide and to who knows where. Explosion up 22-14 here in set number 3. Mamba just trying to get the right momentum to them, but nothing doing as the Mambas get that one. It is now 15-22. Number 9 checks back in for the Explosion as Joanna Ortiz checks in for the Explosion as the that one falls into the cavity. It is now 16-22. Explosion here starting to look a little rattled right now. They have been playing really well for about a good set and 3 quarters. You know, in volleyball, you got to take advantage of all the miscues possible. And right now, this is all as it is all Explosion here in set number 3. But right now the Mambas are starting to find a groove. It is now 18-22 as the Jazz, the Mambas trying to just continue their offensive flow, and another ace makes it now 19-22. The Explosion here look a little bit confused right now because now they're just pointing out, hey, just take over this area, I'll cover this area right now. And right now they're just trying to just weather this little rally now by the Mambas, who have managed to pick up 4 of the last 5. But right now, that little miscue right there costs the Mambas, as it is now 23-19. Explosion with all the momentum in the world right now. Goes up and over. Nothing doing. Explosion trying to close out this set, but that attack goes well wide off the mark. It is 20-23 right now in set number 3. Folks, if you have not heard the South Texas Border Sports podcast, now after all of our playoff games on Facebook Live are over, that would be a great time for you to go check out that podcast, which drops every Monday on anchor.fm/STBS. It is now 21-23 as the Mambas have made a furious rally of the last 5 straight to get it to where it's at. Make it now 7 straight after that ace. And if I'm the Explosion, I would just call a timeout here to reset everything. And they do, and we'll take a commercial break right here on Texas Valley Sports Live. We'll go to commercial break.
Takeoff.
We are back here, folks. The Mambas have managed to pull off the last 6 in a row right now to put us at 22-23 here in set number 3. Mambas enter the tournament, and there goes another ace. 23 all. The Mambas have been serving themselves back into the match here as the Explosion, and there goes another ace. Mambas can now close out the set here. It is 24-23 right now. They get that across. Getting into a teammate, and that gets across. They try to get a quick attack there, nothing doing. The Mambas set it up. They attack, and there it is. It is 23-25. Here the score of set number 3. It is a 2-1 advantage for the Mambas. We'll go to commercial break, and we'll be right back to set up set number 4. You live? And we are back here for the 4th set between the Mambas and the Explosion. Mambas used a furious rally here in set number 3 to take a 2-1 advantage over the Explosion. The Explosion had a 22-17 lead when the Mambas went on an 8-1 run to close it out in nice dramatic fashion. And right now the Mambas lead 1-0, 2 sets to 1 here in this playoff semifinal match of the Purple Division. The Mambas trying to find a groove here, but they do. That's the second point of the set. Serve goes up and over as number 12 for the Explosion gets to dig there. Kaylee Garza right there. Garza back to serve for the Explosion. Mambas trying to find her way out on the groove, and that ball. Mambas arguing that there was a touch, and referee. Yes, there was a touch, and it is point Mambas. Explosion not real happy there with that call. Number 9 and number 1 checking back in for the Explosion as that last serve goes out of bounds. Joanna Ortiz and Abigail Guerrero check in for the Explosion here for the first time in set number 4. Attack. And the referee signals a net violation call against the Mambas, giving the Explosion their third point of the set. Mambas trying to attack the back line, nothing doing so far. They try to do a kill, and they do so nicely. 4-3, and number 5 is checking in for the libero. Number 5 being Catherine Facundo checking in for the libero. And the serve goes out of bounds to make it now a 4-all game. Libero checks back in for the Mambas as the Explosion now gonna serve going. The Explosion get a point there off the net, and that one went out of bounds as the Mambas try to find a way. And what a kill there! Just placing it right there in front of the Explosion where they could not reach it. It is now 5-all here in set number 4. And they return to favor now, the Explosion to make it now 5-6. What a kill there by number 5 there, Catherine Facundo, to make it now a 6-all game. Nice little rally there between Explosion and Mambas, the second and third place teams here in the purple division. Mambas won the only meeting between these two sides in the regular season. Mambas 7-6 now. In the earlier game, it was a Storm defeating the Toxicas 3-0, but the Toxicas gave the Storm all they could handle. As the final set went 25-6 in favor of the Storm. Toxicas giving them two close sets, 25-19, 25-21, but the Storm found a nice offensive groove early on and never looked back And what a kill there by the Explosion now to make it now 7-all. Substitution now for the Explosion. Number 11 and number 6 check in. Megan Zamora checks back in. Ace makes it now 8-7 now, Explosion. That last attack there by the Mambas goes well wide, giving the Explosion there a 9-7 advantage. That one falls a little short. Mambas making the sub now as number 9 checks in. Emily Rivera for the Mambas as a libero serves for the Mambas. Explosion try to find a cavity, but nothing doing there. Number 14 just gets it across as Erica Martinez has a touch to it. Erica Martinez finds a cavity and gets the point there for the Mambas. It is now 9-all here in set number 4. Folks, if you like what you're seeing right now and have a high interest in playing either volleyball or basketball, log on to Texas Valley Sports and contact him through Facebook for more information as the Explosion pick up a point there off a rare miscue, and there goes another point for them to make it now 11-9 favor the Explosion here in set number 4. I want to thank Chris Zamora for tuning in. Thank you, Chris, for joining us here on your Sunday afternoon. It is now 12-9 as the Explosion are now starting to find that groove offensively. Mambas getting the backline kill right there to get themselves within 12-10. And that one goes well wide of the mark. Make it now 13-10. Timeout, Mambas, after that last point, and we'll go to commercial break with you as well. And we are back, folks, after a quick timeout. Mambas just trying to readjust their offense and defense here to try to get back into this one. They're down 14-10, but up 2-1 and trying to close out this matchup. Mambas getting a point there off the timeout. But it just seems that the Mambas are trying to just continue on here with their offensive game plan that's been working for them thus far. They've won 2-1, but now they just got to find a plan to piece it all together, and they do, as number 13, Catlin Lopez, finds a space in the Explosion side of the court to get the kill. Explosion return to courtesy as they find a little cavity there in the Mambas as number 9 and number 1 check back in for the Explosion as Joanna Ortiz and Abigail Guerrero check back in for the Explosion here. Both pretty good surf specialists in their own right. Guerrero gets a little punch on that one just to get it over. As the Mambas try to attack the back line and nothing doing. Guerrero gets a touch on that for the Mambas and the Mambas just send it across. 12 setting up the teammate and gets the kill. Make it now 16 to 12. And the Mambas there with the point of their own to now make it 16 to 13 as number 5, Catherine Facundo checks in the middle blocker for the Black Mambas. And that serve goes out of bounds. And Libero checks back in for the Mambas now. The Mambas there get another kill. They get now 14 to 17. They trail by 3, but they're up 2 sets to 1. They're trying to close out here this set now to try to make things really interesting for the Purple Division final here in the playoffs. As the Mambas continue to rally on this point here, and it goes in. And that serve goes out of bounds, ending their little Mambas run that saw them get at least 3 points in that last run. Explosion now are up 18 to 15 at this point. And that went out, and that is a point Mambas now. It is 16 to 18 now. Mambas can try to get a little closer now with them serving, as they have a handful of aces here in this match. And that's killed down by the Explosion. 19 to 16 your score now. Explosion making a change to get a new server in. And that one falls right before they could get a touch on it. So now it is 17 to 19. Mambas lead. Libero serving now for the Mambas. And the block kill right there for the Explosion now gives them a 20 to 17 lead. Explosion trying to force a 5th set here while the Mambas trying to find a way to just close out this game. And the Mambas get a fortuitous call there. I felt like there was an Explosion player that got a tap to it before it touched the ground. And the Explosion get a point right there. 21-18 our score as now make it 22. That last attack here falls a little short. And that one goes out of bounds. Deja vu again, once again for the Explosion as they were up to a similar score in the last set before falling to the Mambas. And that one goes out of bounds as the Mambas get their 19th point of the set here. 19-23 is our score right now. Mambas are down, but they're up 2-1, and what did I tell you, folks? What did I tell you? Deja vu all over again for the Explosion as they are now down by 3. And this happened to them in the last set where they were up, and then they just, and wow, what a response! They found a cavity right there. Explosion have a set point here to try to send this to a 5th set here. Folks, these are the second and third best teams in the purple division. Just one game separated them, and now the Explosion take the set now, 2-0. Folks, we're gonna be right back. We're gonna reset. And we are back here for set number 5 between the Mambas and the Explosion here. Both teams taking 2 sets. And it was the Explosion closing out set number 4 not letting them happen what it did to them in the previous set, which was number 3. And that attack opportunity by the Explosion goes right on the mark, giving the Mambas the first point of the set. Mambas kept that one across there as the Explosion set up their attack, and the libero dragging that one out from the court, from the deep part of the court there. Libero plays that one out once again. Explosion trying to set themselves up, and there's a nice block kill there by the Explosion, as now they're going to make a pair of subs as number 9, Joanna Ortiz, is back to serve, and Abigail Guerrero gets in on the action as well. Serve goes across as number 3 gets an attack to it, and so does the libero. Another block kill there by the Explosion now to make it now a 2-1 game. And now the Mambas return one of their own they get a nice little block kill there by Emily Rivera. Ace by the Mambas to make it now 3-2. Is our score right now here in the final set, where the now 3-3 now. 3-3 here in the final set here in this semifinal single elimination format between the Mambas and the Explosion. It is now 4-3. 4-3 is our score right now. 5-3 is our score, I'm sorry. As the Explosion starting to find a rhythm right now as far as they're off. Starting to find a rhythm now as the Mambas just trying to hang around now. And they try to attack the back line, but nothing is doing there. They get that across. That one goes well right off the mark. It is now 4-6 as number 5 checks in for the Mambas as Catherine Facundo checks in, the middle blocker for the Mambas. And a nice kill there by the Mambas. Make it now 6-5. The libero serving for the Mambas to try to keep this game balanced out right now. That serve goes out of bounds. Make it now 7-5. Mambas get the point right there to make it now 7-6. The 2 and 3 seed single elimination right now. The 3 seed giving the Mambas all they've got right now. The first set, the Mambas took it. Then it was the Explosion. Then the Mambas closed out set number 2 with a furious 8-1 rally. And then Explosion took the 4th set. And then we are where we are right now. 7-all set 5. As the Explosion get this one across as last opportunity there to get it across, they do. And that one hits out of bounds. It is 8-all right now, number 11, back to serve for the Explosion. As she throws the ball up, gets it over as the libero tries to play it in. And does number 12 setting up her teammate, nothing doing there. And now number 13, Lopez trying to get a kill there, nothing doing. As she gets that one across and a point in. 9-8. 9-8 is our score right now. Mambas now with the serve. Mambas with the serve, and that goes out of bounds. It is now 9-9. 9-9 is our score. Is number 8 back to serve for the Explosion. Number 8, Sherlyn Chavez for the Explosion back to serve. She's trying to go back and gets the kill there. That's 9-10 now is our score. Mambas trying to play that one out of the back, and they do so nicely, forcing the Explosion to play out of the back now. Nice little tap serve. Trying to find a cavity there, nothing doing. A little nice little rally going on here. Trying to get that in, and they get it in. It is now 11-9. 11-9 is our score. Explosion trying to close this one out. Mambas just trying to fight to see another point here to just close in on the Explosion. That one falls in. And a timeout, Mambas. We'll take one with you as well. We'll take a timeout with you here on Texas Valley Sports Live. Out that the Mambas took as the Explosion tried to close out this 5th set. Mambas just trying to adjust their pieces on offense and defense to try to make sure their coverages are proper. But very dangerous play there by the Mambas. They could have been called for a net violation, but nothing doing there. As teammates are helping each other call balls out. As this becomes a nice little interesting rally. As Cat Gonzalez gets involved in the touch there. And it gets in. Mambas getting the ever important point right now. Libero coming out. Number 9, Emily Rivera checking back in. As the Mambas try to capitalize on this momentum that they have right now. And the Explosion, 13, Mambas 10, and right now they're just trying to figure in their pieces right now as Gonzalez checks out, Libero in. The Mambas just trying to stay alive here. The Explosion just trying to find a way to seal out this match as they are trying their best but nothing doing thus far. And there it is, 14-10 right now. Number 12, Kaylee Ann Garza back to serve. What could potentially be the match here. Mambas trying to play this one out. Back and forth they go. As the Explosion try to find a way to kill this one, and they do. Congratulations, Explosion. The Explosion, the 3 seed, close out the Black Mambas 15-10 here in this semifinal. We'll be going to commercial break.